Burn the witch! Kill the witch! You almost always hear those sentences if you watch historical TV series or movies. A woman is tied to a stake, a crowd gathers in front of her, the village elder holds a torch, and then the fire slowly ignites. Sometimes you wonder if people in that era really committed such heinous acts. Were the women burned truly proven to be witches? Or a more out-of-the-box question, if they did turn out to be witches, how did they survive the angry villagers? Forget Hermione Granger. Forget Sabrina Spellman. Today, you are a real witch in the village of Salem, Massachusetts. Big noses and green skin are not necessary. The main requirement to be a witch in this place is that you are an ordinary woman and people hate you. Welcome to the year 1692, a year where the days of all society are filled with fear due to various confusing stories. This is an era where faith is like a double-edged sword, on one side teaching that God is loving, but on the other side interpreted as freedom to kill based on wild assumptions. And you are the soft target of this double-edged sword. If you start hearing shouts of anger around your dwelling, then the likelihood is that you have officially been labeled a witch by the villagers. How could this be? Well, maybe your name has been mentioned by girls who are possessed, or maybe an envious neighbor has started spreading fake news about you, like saying that you often go to the forest at night to pick strange plants. More classically, they see a large pot in your house and you are boiling a green liquid. The world around you is filled with superstition. Someone can say anything and people will believe it, including if someone suddenly accuses you of being a witch. Insanely, accusing you of a witch is not a crime. They will claim that your soul has been stolen by the devil. Humans in that era did like to jump to conclusions and ensure that their words were the single truth. Well, what happened happened. You have entered a game of life and death, with very unfair rules of play. Forget your intention to prove that you are not a witch. It will be very difficult to change the minds of people who only want to hear what they believe. Your main goal now is to survive. Relax. I will give you some guidance so that you can get out of this situation and not end up being burned alive. At least, this will help you live longer. First, if you are accused of being a witch, the marshals will break down your door. A possessed victim will mention an object inside your house, and that will be used as evidence to catch you red-handed. What you must do is not panic. I know this sounds cliché, but believe me, this is the most appropriate attitude. Do not resist. Your energy will not be enough to fight the marshal. Besides, your resistance will be considered evidence that the devil is giving you supernatural power, and that is not good. Just obey and follow them. The good news is, you will not be burned immediately. You will first be taken to a meeting room where there are several judges, a priest, and the village community. Yes, you can call it a courtroom for witches. Anyway, what they do here is examine your physical condition. They will look for moles, scars, or strange birthmarks all over your body. Witch's mark. That is what it is called. Do not cry or rebel when they start uncovering your clothes. I know it is very humiliating, but you have to endure it. They will also look for a witch's teat, a protrusion believed to be your third nipple, which you use to suckle the devil. Do not worry, they will not molest you further. A witch's teat is usually in the face or neck area. That is why in cartoons, witches are depicted as having large warts on their noses or cheeks. Again, hold on, and do not forget to admit that the mark has been on your body since you were born. Not only looking, they will also prick those marks with a needle. When that happens, show normal pain. Do not act tough. Screaming in pain is a sign that you are a normal human, not an invulnerable witch. After the body examination, you will be taken before the girls who accused you of being a witch. Remember? The ones who said they were possessed and claimed there was a strange object in your house? Pay attention to these signs. They will fall to the floor, scream in pain, and then imitate all your movements because you are right in front of them. If that happens, avoid eye contact with them. In fact, do not look at them at all. Do not touch them. Stay calm and silent. That can be the most powerful tactic. If you move, they will react. If you also react, it is confirmation to them that you are casting a spell. If you pass this condition, do not be happy yet. There is still a more difficult advanced stage. You are faced with two options, and both carry very fatal risks. Option A, you plead guilty. Hold on, do not get emotional. You must know that even though it does not make sense, ironically, this is the most likely way for you to survive. If you admit to being a witch, it means you acknowledge the authority of the court, the priest, and God. You show remorse and a desire to be saved. You will become God's instrument to uncover the devil's conspiracy. In other words, you are just saying what they want to hear. The risk is that you will be forced to mention other names, which means you have to drag new people into your problem. Heck, it could even be that person is innocent, but you drag them to court. Or, you can mention the name of a person who has already been accused of being a witch and accuse them again of influencing you. This confession will lead to you being imprisoned for life. But hey, you live. At least the priest sees you as a stained person, as a victim who must be helped so that the devil's influence disappears from you. The court cannot execute a person who has repented and asked to be saved. Just make sure that when you confess, you do it with full tears. Say that the devil forced you. Give a few vague details to make it more convincing. But if you feel your pride is too high to lie, then you can take option B. Refuse the accusation and become a martyr. You remain firm in your stance, but unfortunately, it almost always ends in burning or hanging. Hold on, I said almost always. You still have a chance to live even if you take this option. The method is quite simple. Use their argument as your weapon. They judge you in the name of God, so you must also bring God into your rebuttal. They arrested you because someone was possessed and claimed to see an object you used as a medium for magic. Condemn it! Say that the devil can assume the shape of an innocent person. It could be that the villager is possessed by the devil, saying rambling things that deceive humans, including the people in the courtroom. Priests often use this argument, including in your case. They say that the devil can deceive victims into accusing good people. In this case, you are the devil, the people in the courtroom are the victims, and the possessed person is the good person. If so, ask them, why does the devil have more power than God when entering the courtroom? Shouldn't the devil flee when facing people close to God? Remind the judges that the devil is a deceiver, and you are a good person who is accused without reason and clear evidence. Remember, your rebuttal is very risky. If you are lucky, they will consider your argument reasonable. However, if they do not like the way you talk, you will be believed to be a liar. And lying in front of the court is proof that the devil has completely closed your heart. Almost everyone executed in Salem were those who refused to confess to being a witch. At a glance, it sounds proud because they were able to maintain their principles, but it is also very unfortunate because they still died. But of course, the court people will not immediately take you to the burning stake shortly after you refuse to confess. Instead, you will face a continuation trial, the Court of Oyer and Terminer. Do not expect this court to be fair, because its purpose is not to seek justice, but an advanced stage to prove you are a witch. Yep, the Massachusetts people are still not satisfied with the evidence all over your body. I mean, a witch can do anything including hiding those signs, right? So, they conduct an experiment. Human experiment. This will be brutal, and I understand if you will be very angry. But I suggest you suppress your anger when defending yourself. Never show anger or annoyance when accused. Witches are considered to have a bad temper. If you can show a good tone of voice when refusing the accusation, then use that tone of voice until this stage. Show your humility and resignation. Show that you are a helpless human. Now you are tied up. Not to be burned, but to be made wet. The first trial is with water. Your tightly bound body is thrown into the pond, while people cheer for you to quickly die. But why water? Well, they believe water rejects evil. That is why if you float while tied up, their conclusion that you are a witch will be stronger. Conversely, if you sink, it means you are innocent, but you will still die if those people only watch. Actually, the water test was very rarely used in Salem because it was considered superstitious. You heard it right. These superstitious people can also refute other superstitions. However, if it happens to you, struggle so that you sink, while praying that you are still given a chance to live. Hopefully, the judge is still humane enough to pull you back to the surface. Do not forget, to escape the death penalty, you should not be alone. Seek support. Starting from the person closest and most trustworthy to you, for example, your husband. However, if the court does not believe your husband, considers him under the influence of magic or something, Or, in the worst-case scenario, you do not have a husband yet, try your neighbor. Oh, wait. Your neighbor is the one who first accused you of being a witch. If so, try to find another party to testify. What about the priest near your place of residence? Today he did not attend the trial, which means he still trusts you. Ask him for help to reveal how pious you are, how diligent you are in going to church and donating to orphans. Unfortunately, that is also not enough. The court still uses the same theological argument. The devil can deceive anyone, including the priest who is a witness to your piety. Therefore, the testimony of the good priest is finally ignored by the court. Now you are alone. No one supports you, no one can testify for you. But wait, there is still a way out. The person in the court who is still not satisfied looking for evidence will ask you to read the Lord's Prayer. Witches are believed not to be able to complete this prayer without error. They will stammer. My suggestion is, you have memorized it long ago, so that in court, you can say every word clearly and without hesitation. Remember that your child is crying near the courtroom. He does not quite understand the judge's decision. All he knows is that he is waiting for you to come home alive. Good luck.